Welcome to another edition of the Darfatafapid.
Dude, during our intro just now, I figured out why people hate bisexuals.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Whoa.
Isn't it great to have epiphanies, dude?
It is.
I was looking at our intro, and I was like, damn, maybe we should throw like a dude in with my hot chicks now that I'm out of the closet. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But then I was like, you know what? There's no need, because as a bisexual dude, I'm not going to turn my nose up at a room full of hot chicks.
Yeah.
But if there happens to be another dude there that I'm attracted to, I'm not going to turn my nose up at that either. That's why people hate us, because we got the most options out of it.
They hate us because they ain't us.
That's what it is, man.
That's how it go.
That's why
just
we're at the
pull
bottom, dude.
You just pull something from the interview, TJ?
They hate us because they ain't us.
Oh, man.
Damn.
Dude, there's some good shit in the interview. Whatever. Fuck you.
Oh, you said it was dog shit.
It is dog shit, but there's some good shit in there.
Oh, man, dog
That whole Eminem interview thing was fucking funny as fuck.
Nah, you said it was dog shit.
It was funny. It was funny, god damn it. Funnier than that John Hughes faggot shit Paul keeps watching.
Oh, I love John Hughes.
Go jerk off to 16 Candles again, queer.
Damn.
I'm just sorry. I love John
dude,
Hughes. I'm
Damn,
just,
that was metal, dude.
Damn. TJ's getting... Dude, I think this area is soaking into you.
What that, boy?
What that is?
Yo, that fag,
You
boy?
goddamn faggot.
What you goddamn
I want no
saying?
goddamn 16 candle, boy.
16 candles? More like 16 dicks. You all lining up salivating to suck them. Damn queer.
Oh, man.
No, actually, John Hughes is awesome.
He's brilliant, man.
Especially as a director. I love him. He's a great writer, too.
Was
Or he was.
brilliant. Was brilliant.
He's dead now. And
He's
before he
fucking-
died, he actually did start to suck really bad and write a bunch of terrible children's movies like Flubber. He wrote Flubber. For fuck's sake.
Oh, no. Flubber,
He
dude.
wrote Flubber.
No, he did, yeah.
And it was bad. But in the 80s, man, he was unstoppable.
He was on fire. He had a thing, man. He had this whole, like, it's like a lost culture now.
Yeah.
But he was very, very focused on, like, the teenage movement in the 80s, which even I grew up in the 80s, but I wasn't a teenager in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's something, like, I only barely even remember insinuating existing, and it's like a window into that. He was very focused on their fashion and the music and all of that shit, and he found a way to, like, weave in interesting, love stories.
And
shit
now,
around that.
Paul, you know where he is?
Where?
Hell, Paul.
He's burning in hell?
He's burning
Why?
eternally
How
in
do you know
hell.
that?
Was he a committed Christian?
Yeah.
Or a committed Muslim?
Did he accept Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior?
I don't know. Anyway, we got a long one, so I'm going to cut the banter a little short and dive right
Fuck
into the
cutting
subject.
the banter. You know what, dude? There was
Yeah.
a fucking dude that complained about the banter.
was he? Oh,
Or no,
really?
he didn't complain. He was like, oh yeah, because the last one had very little banter. He was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we finally got him to fucking change and shorten the banter.
Oh, well, then fuck
Well,
that.
no, you know what, though? He was a Monday pleb, so let's do it on Monday. Double
Yeah.
dose of banter.
20 minutes of banter
Yep.
on the next show because of him. Find his comments so we can
I
make
did.
sure they know who to blame.
I responded to it.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, on the next Monday show, there's going to be 20 minutes of idle chit-chat because of him.
Yeah, the episode should
And
just be on...
everybody can thank him.
The episode should just be on banter, dude.
Yeah, maybe we'll just do an all-banter-sode. The banter-sode. You can thank this guy.
Yeah.
It has no topic. We just kind of have a conversation.
That'd be fun.
We just yammer.
I'd like that.
No research, nothing. We just kind of do like a fucking 2-hour pre-post show of just blah, 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 and then we just end.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
This is the end.
I actually
Goodbye.
kinda like that.
And
idea.
nothing but small talk. Just fucking empty. It can't be anything of substance. It just has to be fucking whatever
Well,
garbage
TJ,
enters our heads.
we already know you're empty, dude.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
of
you're an
course.
empty-headed fucking
right.
watermelon fuck.
I have a little bit of a pre-scripted sort of opening
Oh,
statement.
man. Perfect time to take a piss.
Yeah, go take a piss, Scotty.
Let's go get up.
George Bernard Shaw once said, "To be in hell is to drift. To be in heaven is to steer." He was not, of course, talking about a literal hell and heaven, but how our circumstances can feel like a personal hell or heaven, based principally on the measure of control that we exert over them. In the Christian vision of hell, there is no control. You are at the mercy of the merciless, and you will experience the maximum amount of suffering forever with no relief. I remember my lunatic stepmother, Laverne. You remember Laverne, Scotty?
Unfortunately.
Who loved Jesus only slightly less than she loved slowly descending into alcoholism. once told me that a single day in hell would last 1,000,000 years. I asked her what difference it would make if you're there forever anyway. I don't really recall how she answered, but I do remember she had a really fucking perplexed look on her face, as if gears that had never turned were turning for the first time. So it was obvious to me at a young age that the grown-ups around me were every bit as clueless as I was about what fate awaits us after death, and that those infected by the religion virus were motivated on one end by the allure of heaven, and on the other end they're repulsed by the daunting prospect of hell. So let me ask my co-host the same way Paul did on his show. What do you guys know about hell? Like, what have you heard about hell over the course of your lives?
boy.
Give me as many specific details about hell as you've ever heard from anybody.
I heard a lot of bad things about hell, dude.
Like what?
Well, number one, fucking fire, dude. Hell is never. I've never heard hell described any other way besides eternal flames. Like, you will be in flames. You will be burned. Brimstone, sulfur. It's gonna like, and I mean, obviously, we've heard all that. Beyond that, just that you'll be tortured. You'll be removed from God. It's the absence of God in your life. You're gonna be miserable. You're like basically it's like you're just gonna like just live this existence of just pure torturous like. And it does vary though. Sometimes you're being tortured by Satan, and he's like laughing kind of thing. And sometimes it's just like you're just by yourself and you're just suffering. But mainly just like you're like in a void. And it's
Most
just
of what
suffering.
I heard when I was a kid was that you would be tortured either by Satan or by a demon or something.
Right.
And I heard that like you'd be thirsty and there would be water like a stream, but you would be chained to the wall or
Almost like a
something,
Greek
so you
thing.
couldn't get to it. Yeah, and like or whatever. A lot of hot pokers, I guess. I heard about
like
demons with like we're gonna prod you with hot pokers and blah 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 blah, and fire.
Yeah, fire is
suffering.
definitely a
kind of like the.
pretty common one.
It was like, have you guys seen the movie Braveheart? Well, it's like, his gay son, Edward Longshank's gay son. That was how he was killed. They actually had a hot poker shoved up his ass. And he was
That's pretty
entrails.
terrible.
So it's like, I mean, but that, like, yeah, I heard that too. Basically, like, a hot poker will be inserted inside you and stuff, and it'll burn your insides.
Yeah.
And like, even if you pass out, like, you'll be awoken, you'll be fine, just to be tortured again. Kind of just like almost from that Greek kind of mythology element, like just your.
I'm sure it
your liver
borrows
will be-
heavily.
Will be eaten. So I actually don't know what the Bible says about heaven. That's what I just heard colloquially about heaven.
Hell, though.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Hell, not heaven.
Well, yeah.
Maybe that sounds like heaven to you.
That's heaven to me. Sorry.
Yeah, Scotty's heaven episode.
Yes, burn me good.
Burn my nipples off till I pass out.
Well, let me ask you. Oh, so let's talk about the Bible then. How many times does the word hell appear in the Bible?
No clue.
I think it's somewhere around 0.
You would be right, Paul.
Yeah?
Well, depending on the translation.
Right.
See, in the King James Version, hell appears 54 times.
Okay.
But in better translations, it doesn't appear at all.
Right.
It's not even in there. There are 4 words that are typically translated into hell in various versions of the Bible. The King James Version is the worst offender, so we'll talk about that. So the 4 words that the King James Version of the Bible most commonly mistranslates into hell are Sheol, which is a Hebrew word which describes a dark and still place in the Hebrew Bible where all of the dead go, regardless of their moral choices in life.
Okay.
So basically, it's just a dark, still, empty place. You still have the presence of God there. They think God is everywhere. So you're still connected to God, but you're just in this kind of like dark sort of place, and there's nothing to do. And
But to them, to the scholars in like the 14th century, it was like, it's not heaven, so it's hell.
Right. So they're just like, yeah, hell. It's hell. The other 3 are Hades, which of course comes from the Greek tradition. Gehenna. Now, Gehenna is interesting because Gehenna, among other things, was an actual geographic location.
Right. Isn't it like a field where a battle took place?
It was a small valley in Jerusalem. It was used commonly to burn refuse.
Okay.
So it was like a big garbage fire. And also, in the Hebrew Bible, Gehenna was where some of the kings of Judah sacrificed their children by fire. So it was a place of human sacrifice as well. In rabbinic literature, Gehenna is a destination of the wicked. This is different from the more neutral Sheol or Hades, the abode of the dead. Although the King James Version of the Bible usually translates both with the Anglo-Saxon word hell, Gehenna is considered a purgatory-like place where the wicked go to suffer until they have atoned for their sins. It's stated that the maximum amount of time that a sinner can spend in Gehenna is 1 year.
So there's never in the Bible actually a clear story or indication about going to hell. Like it's not like that. Like it was the apostle like Peter or whatever. Which one was it? He went to heaven. Okay, I'm here's what's heaven's like. So there's not a story like Satan's like come down to hell and see what hell's like.
Well, there's references to Gehenna, which, as I just told you, is a place, at least in the Jewish tradition, which
But you said
Jesus
that's
was
a
from.
max. You said that's a maximum.
Yeah, where you
of
would
1
only
year.
go for a year tops.
So that's not hell though, as we know. Hell ain't 1 year.
The other word that's commonly mistranslated into that is Tartarus, which we'll get into that deeper later on in the episode. So what the Bible does contain references to, though, is a lake of fire.
Where the bad folks go when they die? Don't go to heaven where the angels fly.
Go to a lake of fire and they fry. See 'em again till the 4th of July.
The July, dude.
The 4th of July.
The
Little
four-
reference to a video of mine for some of you out there.
Them corn bones.
So the lake of fire is not the same thing as hell.
What?
A lot of Christians think it is the same thing, but it is not the same thing. The Bible contains references to a lake of fire, such as Revelations 21:8, which says, "But the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, and all liars will be consigned to the fiery lake of burning sulfur, which is the second death." So for many Christians, hell and the lake of fire are one place. However, the Bible makes it clear that the lake of fire is something that will not come about until the end of days. And it's a matter of dispute among Christians whether the lake of fire is a place of eternal torture or if it's a place of destruction.
Oh, wow. I mean, what a great distinction there.
Well, it is. I mean,
Will you be
it's a pretty
tortured?
important distinction,
Will
I
you
would
be-
imagine, if you're going to...
Yeah, I'd rather be annihilated.
I think most
than,
people would rather
tortured for
probably just
in
like, okay,
perpetuity.
I'm dead. I'm dead now. I'm just literally
Yeah,
gone.
but I mean, most Christians believe in hell. So I mean, even if they're destroyed or die on Earth,
Well,
and
they're-
at the end of times, they're still going to go to hell, presumably.
I believe the subsect of Christians that believe this are called annihilationists.
Yes.
Okay.
It's about 30% of Christians, from what I can tell,
Right.
believe
Really?
that
Who believe
there's no
that
hell, you're just
hell
annihilated.
is just you're kind of just erased,
Or
from
that hell is
existence.
kind of a Gehenna-like realm where the dead just wait.
Well, damn,
to be
dude, it's
judged.
kind of like Buddhism in that sense. You just get a quicker path.
There are many different interpretations of the Christian hell, obviously. There's as many different interpretations of hell as there is different ideas about Christianity. But here's a generalized gist of what I can actually piece together from the Bible. Because
Okay.
Paul tried to make his contingent on holy text. So as far as I can tell, what the Bible actually says about the afterlife, regardless of what conceptions have been come up with since then, is that those who die before judgment will go to some manner of underworld. And you can call it hell, or you can call it Gehenna, or you can call it whatever the fuck you want.
Sure.
On Judgment Day, they'll all be resurrected, and those who were good will go to heaven to live forever with God. And those who were evil will go to the lake of fire to either be annihilated completely from existence or suffer eternally, depending on whatever interpretation you want.
Okay.
Now, obviously, this is not what most Christians believe today.
No.
They think that when they die, they're going right to their eternal destination, heaven or hell. They don't think there's a waiting room.
Well, you heard all the shit we came up with about the hot pokers and
Yeah.
demons and being tortured and all that shit. All that shit is just shit that people have made up and pasted over this very fucking blank slate in Christianity.
Exactly. I thought that the Bible would go into more detail about hell than it did about heaven, but actually there's less. It's almost questionable whether there's even a biblical basis to support the idea of hell.
Right.
In fact, many of the Bible's hell references come from the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus used the word Gehenna, I think 14 times, and 14 times it was translated into hell. But when Jesus spoke of Gehenna, he did not seem to view it as the place where you only suffer for a year, where your maximum sentence is a year. Because on the Sermon on the Mount, he says, He's talking about the goats and the sheep. The sheep are he's going to separate people into goats and sheep, and the sheep go to heaven and the goats go to hell.
Right.
And he said, then they, speaking of the goats, will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous, the sheep, will go on to eternal life. So he's talking about the punishment of the wicked as if it were eternal there.
Right.
So he's using the word Gehenna, which previously has meant you only suffer for a year max, but he's saying, no, it's eternal. So if you want to talk about who invented the concept of the Christian hell, I think Jesus is a pretty good contender.
It's Jesus.
That is something that actually comes from Jesus, eternal damnation. But there's no detail given.
Don't you just enjoy, though? This is one thing I've always enjoyed about religion, is that no matter what you do, like, so let's say your life is 50 years, whatever. So in that short amount of time, if you made a bad decision or good decision according to this religion, you're then condemned for eternity one way or the other. So, like, what if you're going to be, like, so if I don't fucking see how it's even fair.
This is meant to be a depiction of Gehenna, by the way. Just a chaotic place.
Is that Cerberus
Yeah, Cerberus will make a few appearances in here.
barking at the gates?
He's barking back there at the gates of hell or of Gehenna. So, you guys might not believe in hell right now, but you're gonna.
What?
Because I have prepared for you guys a very, very special treat. Okay?
A special. Oh, okay, cool.
This is some people who have actually been to hell.
What?
They've been. Dude.
Say what?
They've been there. I cut this together from about 3 hours of various testimonies. That's one hell of a testimony. And we're going to look at some people who have actually been to hell, and they're reporting back to us what they saw there.
And I found myself falling through the air, and I landed in this actual prison cell in hell. Rough-hewn stone walls, bars, filthy, stinking, dirty prison, like a dungeon. Yeah. And
was this the night after you had a hard drinking episode? Because it might have actually been a prison cell that you woke up in.
No, he was this guy when he went to hell he's already a committed Christian, going to prayer meetings and all that stuff.
That don't mean shit.
Wow.
Well, I think in this case, this guy actually is a legit
So how did he go visit hell though? He randomly
well,
visited hell?
God just pulled him in there because he wanted him to preach the gospel to other people.
Of course.
So God wanted to show him the horrors of hell so that he could report back to people how bad hell is to get them to, stray from their wicked path, basically.
Got it.
These demonic creatures in this cell.
What were they like?
Reptilish in
What were
appearance,
they like?
bumps and scales all over their bodies.
Yeah.
These particular two were about 12 or 13 feet tall. First of all, they were blaspheming and cursing God. They had an extreme hatred for God.
All right.
Looks like
They were
hell's got some
deformed,
kinky shit going on, dude.
Oh, you got some kinkiness out of that?
No, the screen's behind him where it was like,
Yeah.
it just looked like he would have his O face.
Then these nasty old scaly demons bent me over and just started paddling my ass, and I told them, stop, demons, stop, but they would never just stop.
And they had a monstrous two-headed cock, and it just made me do things I didn't want to do.
Terrible, gross homo things.
Did grotesque creatures, and then they directed that hatred
like right there.
towards me. Now,
That's
what
what they did
have
to
I
him.
done to them? But the one picked me up, threw me into the wall, tremendous strength. I collapsed on the floor. I felt bones broken. The other one dug his claws into my chest, tore the flesh open. You have a body in hell, but it can withstand this torment. And they had absolutely no mercy, an extreme hatred for God and for man.
No mercy at all.
None.
No.
Not any.
Oh, he was sitting down with a familiar friend of ours.
Yeah,
Did you
sitting
see
down
that?
with Mr. Pat
The
Robertson.
wise ape was there. I didn't realize.
The wise ape was.
Oh no.
Oh, and Pat Robertson during that interview is fucking great because he knows everything that's going to be said, but he keeps like, wow, so no mercy at all, huh?
Kayfabe in the reaction.
Was there any water in hell? Was there any reprieve at all? Are you able to rest in hell? Just like real
Right.
leading questions of like, there's got to be something okay about hell. It's like,
What?
nope, it's all bad.
Why would you go in that expecting him like, actually in hell, after you do that for about 20 minutes, the demon's like, just fucking with you, it's hell. What? It's hell.
And then, every once in a while, they'll let you take a Netflix break or something.
I could hear all those. I could hear people, voices of human beings crying for help and cursing everything, you name it. And it's not clear anymore. So many people and some gnashing of teeth and the heat just, the darkness just came out. It's not like darkness, like there's no light and this is darkness. It's the darkness is a force and it's a reality. It's feeling the wrath of God in the air.
That's another one that they really like is that darkness thing.
Yeah, that was the vaguest shit.
Was, yeah.
Yeah, it was a place.
That's basically all he said about hell.
There was
by
a
the way.
place and there was darkness, but it's not real darkness like you're used to, but it's a different darkness.
No,
An oppressive darkness.
he's actually purloining that from a lot of these other guys because pretty much one of the things that's recurring is that they talk about the darkness of hell, but they always talk about how like it's not just the absence of light. It's
I would love to cross-examine
physical
that guy.
darkness.
Because he was all like, there were so many voices and they were cursing everything. I'd be like what? Name some of the things that were cursing.
It's hard to remember now
I
because
can't
so
remember.
much. This guy is
Can you remember one thing that they cursed?
gosh dang it.
You know what they would probably say? People saying, God, please forgive me. But God is not there. They're in hell.
So this guy is he used to be an atheist just like us.
Uh-oh.
But
Saw
then
the error in his ways.
He went to
Ruh-roh.
hell and he had some experiences. Check it out.
I tried to get up to run. One pinned me down for each of my limbs.
He's talking about demons here.
Demons, yeah.
By the way, his description of the demons, I had to cut it out because it takes him like 30 minutes to spit it out. But like, they're just big red-eyed oafs that are there.
All right.
And the first one started cutting me up and opening me up. They just wiped across my chest and my whole chest opened up. They pulled all my insides out.
It's like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
Finish him.
They chopped my limbs off, chopped them into
Yeah.
little pieces.
It's like a
ripping them to
Goro
shreds.
fatality.
They ripped my eyes out. I screamed. They pulled my tongue all the way out and cut it out. And they were reminding me the whole time of everything I did in my life. Every time I took my life for granted.
Wait a minute,
Every
what?
time-
Yeah. The demons were like reminding him of like the sins that brought him there as they were like ripping his tongue out. Like, this is for disrespecting your parents. Rah!
I cursed my mom. I cursed my dad. Every time I lied to my mom, to my dad. Every time I blasphemed God's name.
Remember that one time you were taking a shit and you said, God damn, ah!
Yeah, they
These
were
fuck-
reminding him.
These are some smart fucking demons, and why do these demons care so much about this fucking oaf, dude?
April 17th, you lied to your mom about where you got that weed.
Yeah, you said you did the dishes.
so now
but
I'm
you
ripping
didn't.
your spleen out, you faggot. Ah!
This is a grifter. This is somebody that realized that atheist turned Christian grift can pay you if you have the right story.
I don't think he's going to get no money out of it because
No.
he sucks.
Every time I blamed something for something that I did to myself, it was being repaid to me.
Oh, yeah, man.
Okay.
I'm really feeling the fucking emotion there, man.
Yeah, dude, that dude was in hell, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like ripped out my tongue and,
If you tell a story in this tone of voice, it's real. It means that it's real serious. And that what happened actually happened, you know?
Check this out. This is great.
When I got there, just the heat, the extreme heat started
Made you
causing
hotter?
my skin to drip off of me.
It dripped?
And
Sweet.
the sound of the people screaming broke my eardrums and caused such a pain inside of me. And I knew this was going to go on eternally.
How
And
did
that
you
woman,
know?
you can buy, because God just gave her the knowledge. But yeah, you could buy a book from her. She also has a DVD set, or I'm sorry, a CD set.
Of course she does.
You could buy. Or I'm sorry, you don't buy it. You give them a $35 donation, and then they send it to you, which is not the same thing as buying it, apparently, because it's a donation.
Let's hear that. I want to hear this guy's story.
This is another atheist, quote unquote.
Oh, okay, of
This
course.
guy actually is good at it. Well, I don't think he's actually that great at it, but this
Yeah,
guy
no.
actually is on tour and like goes and talks to big groups.
So
of people
he's got his
and
shtick
shit.
down, so
he's
he-
actually got
yeah.
his hell shtick down.
Yeah,
Okay, let's
take
hear it.
notes, hoodie guy from earlier. This is
This is how you actually do it. And by the way, you don't have to be that much better, apparently.
I walked on to another cube. We looked in this other cube on this row, and there was another lady, and she believed that
Special effects are great, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Mother Earth could save her. And then if she honored the trees and the rocks, and she was into this nature thing, and part of their religious practice that she would practice would be getting out in the fields and dancing around a fire with a bunch of other people doing the same. The people that she thought that she was with were actually demons, and they would come up to her and
That's
say,
awesome, dude.
"You did this." They pick up a stone. You say, "The stone will save you here," and they smacked her with it. So she was standing there, and
Take that, you fucking nature lovers. You
worship
fucking hippie.
nature?
You worship this stone? Let's see how much this stone helps you with it. Smack it across your face, bitch!
You want to know what the funniest thing about this is?
What?
This dude has gotten laid because of this.
Yep.
Because of this story on these tours around, dude, he's gotten fucking laid because of this. Guaranteed.
You know who really seemed to like? Well, I can't really. I can't really say that.
This is a Christian rock star right here.
Dude, I saw him talking to like a mega church.
Yeah.
It was a huge mega church. I mean, it wasn't like one of the giant ones. It was a big ass church, and he's telling the same bullshit story.
Yep.
And then there's another part of hell where this. Oh, he even gets at some point into like Hitler. He's like, yeah, I saw Hitler there, and he was burning, and he was just sitting there burning. Hitler's torment was kind of like mild compared to some of the other, like those the people he really hates, like the Wiccans and
Yeah,
shit.
the nature worshippers.
They get really bad
the
torture.
demons
Hitler's
raped him and beat him and
with
hurt
Hitler,
him.
he was just like, yeah, Hitler was like in a room and he was burning.
I am burning.
the demons reached down there
Mein Gott!
and reached in her mouth, ripped out her tongue and part of her thing. Says, "You talk bad?
Part of her thing?
Oh, the stones are not going to save you. Nobody can save you." Then they ripped off her, just actually took her skin and just peeled it off.
Oh,
It was
dude,
really
this is
slow and
kinky.
agonizing.
These demons really
The
freaking.
shreds. It's nothing to the skeletons. Then they took the bones and broke the bones, and she felt everything. Then her body would come back together. The flesh would come back together, and she'd be whole again, and it would start all over again. A different scene would happen.
Love it. Love it.
Like a million people screaming in agony. And I looked up and I realized how dark it was. And I've never been afraid of hardly nothing on this earth, but that scared me so bad that I felt like I was going to explode from the inside with a bomb.
And I'm in this tomb and I can...
Yeah. I will go explode on the
I'ma explode
inside
like
with
bomb.
the bomb, y'all. This is a preacher who went to hell because he used to, I guess, preach that everyone will be saved.
Oh.
And then he was sent to hell so God could show him that he was wrong.
Okay.
hear billions of voices, but I can ascertain and understand them. Now, your frontal cortex, where you make your decisions, and your cognitive facilities, right?
Oh, you're gonna teach us about the brain,
Yeah.
dumb guy that thinks God is real.
Yeah, as far as your frontal cortex, I think it's malfunctioning.
All
dude.
happens. It can't process that. Your ears can't assimilate and process all of that.
Can't assimilate.
Can't dissimulate it.
They can't dissimulate
The
and
problem-
process all of that.
Well, the problem with all
You
these
will
stories
be assimilated. We're the redneck board.
is they're obviously bullshit for one reason. It's all the modern conceptualization of hell. It's just what every fucking kid that's raised in a country where the concept of hell is present hears. It's like, and all the voices, they all said the same thing.
Where's the
It's
biblical
dark,
basis for this?
and there's voices, but Paul, there's going to be voices because that's what you see in movies when they portray hell.
Yeah, if you're a Christian and one of these dudes starts spouting this shit at you, ask him for the biblical basis. Because
Well, he went there, Paul. So
There's very few verses.
doesn't the Bible warn you about people like him? Prophets
There will be
and
great
false
wailing
prophets
and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
But when you're out of your body, you can. So we sometimes maybe getting insulted or condemned by people or accused, and it hurts. But how about billions of voices cursing you, jeering you, making fun of you?
Do people actually,
tormenting
you think, really believe that these people have gone to hell? Like, they genuinely somehow visited hell? Because, like, it's an absurd concept. Like, how could you have visited hell without dying? Oh, the Lord took me to hell. But it's always the same story. It's like they've all just basically told the same story over and over again.
There's here's why I don't believe a fucking word of any of this, because there's always a monetary benefit for them to have gone to hell. This guy's a preacher. He's not just an ordinary preacher, though. My preacher went to hell and come back. You know what I mean?
Learning the truth.
They got DVDs being sold. I bet that other dude's got a YouTube channel. The hoodie guy's probably got a YouTube channel he's trying to launch.
Story, man.
A whole little ministry he's trying. You know what I mean? There's always a monetary benefit to somebody going to hell. Now, why would that happen?
I went to hell and there was rivers of money.
Lying to you, messing with your mind. Millions of them, hearing each one of them, understanding each one of them.
What'd
Each
they
one
say?
of those, boom, shoots in there. Poof, hits you.
Poof.
Deep inside your heart, deep inside your spirit. It hits you, but you can't escape it. It's for eternity.
There was rivers.
So wait a minute. So so hell is basically just like a billion people shit talking you.
Oh, that's just one of the torments. He went
okay.
into other ones, but that was... I was trying to get a unique blend of different
Right, yeah, I get it.
bullshit.
You know what's
I was just
interesting-
wondering if that was the central focus of his thing.
It kind of was, but there was other shit. There was like your more typical
What's
demons and burning
But what's
and stuff.
interesting is that you wouldn't even need to do all that to make people suffer in hell. If you just had someone like, you're in this fucking void, that would fucking be hell to most people.
Did this dude literally green screen himself in front of an earthworm gym level?
I think so.
Yes.
Yep. I don't know if it's Earthworm Jim, but yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yep.
But rivers of fire. And as I can see inside the rivers,
It looked like an
I can
earthworm
see these
gym
little eyes
level?
looking up at me.
You
And it
couldn't
almost
find
appeared
anything
that
better?
They were going up and down. It was looked like they were chained up
Fire to
together.
the left, fire
And
to
they
the
were
right,
walking.
fire
And
to
Oh,
the
so
up and down.
so it was an
One of the-
earthworm gym level.
Yeah.
It had moving platforms that he had to navigate. Okay.
Get out. But you could hear their screams.
I think this dude just
Screams,
took
you
a
can
bunch of
see
meth and played Earthworm Jim one night and woke up and thought he went to hell.
them reaching out with their hands. You can see the skeleton.
The skeletons in Earthworm Jim's hell? Yeah. I remember
And then-
those.
God knows the thoughts before we think them. So this is the worst that I would receive. Those were the lesbians.
What?
Those were
Whoa.
the homosexuals.
Oh.
These are the gay men.
Oh,
They
God
were
was telling
chained
you
up
what they
together,
were. Oh,
walking
so he was in hell and he was seeing like
rivers of
lesbian section right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the lesbo section.
Fag section right there.
This is where we torture the gays and lesbians.
And then I whipped over to the lesbio level, and there were moving platforms over lava of lesbians that I had to jump on.
So let's learn about. We'll come back to the Christian hell in a bit, but
I like this guy.
I know he's kind of great. Let's go look at some other versions of hell real quick. So Ker, the ancient Mesopotamian hell.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit.
So the
dude.
ancient Mesopotamians believed that all dead people would go to a shadowy world called Ker, where they would lead a fairly miserable existence, eating dust and just doing drudgery, and it sucks. But
all
everyone,
dead people.
all dead people go there.
Damn.
Good, bad,
That's pretty
whatever.
fucking harsh.
Yeah, you just go to this kind of shadow world where
Yeah,
it's kind of like you live like kind of like a pale imitation of the
So-
existence you once
So you're
lived.
saying I can't just be like a really good dude and then I get a fucking special place? I just go to the same place everyone else
Well, eventually they kind of realized like our afterlife kind of sucks. So as time went on, the myth changed a bit, and it changed to basically be like if you have a really lavish burial, then your afterlife will be kind of better than the other people. So basically, the more lavish and awesome your funeral and your burial, the
Right.
better off your afterlife is going to be.
So kind of an Egyptian concept.
Right, almost kind of like the beginning of that whole like
Right.
you can take it with you
Yeah,
sort
just
of thing.
it's the precursor to what the Egyptians did.
Yeah,
Obviously
basically.
influenced by this culture.
And speaking of Egypt, we could talk about them next.
Whoa.
This is Amit, who is the guardian of the lake of fire, or the devourer of souls or hearts. There's different versions of the myth. In Paul's episode on heaven, we learned that the Egyptian version of heaven is called the Field of Reeds.
Yes.
And their version of hell was to have their heart or their soul, depending on the mythos, fed to a horrible demoness called Amit, pictured here. She was generally depicted as a demon with the head of a crocodile, the torso of a wild cat, and the hindquarters of a hippo. According to some traditions, she lived by the scales of justice. That's where your soul or your heart is weighed against the weight of a feather
Yeah.
to see if you're pure. And according to that, if you are impure, your soul or your heart, depending on which legend, gets either fed to Amit here, or it's thrown into the lake of fire, which the Christians later stole for their religion. And Amit is just the guardian of the lake of fire.
Dude, Amit looks like a badass video game boss, dude.
Hell
Yes.
yeah, dude.
I was just thinking, I'm like, man, how would I fucking beat Amit? Like, what would they? Oh, they're definitely making a tail attack. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. You'd have to climb up that tail and stab it in the head or some shit.
I would imagine because crocodiles have very little opening strength on their jaws, I think it would try kind of like involve maybe like wrapping yourself around it or trying to somehow like tie the jaws closed and then
Yeah.
maybe stabbing.
Man, I would not want to fuck with this afterlife, man.
Yeah, and Amit's pretty fucked up. And
Come forth, Paul.
I think Amit actually literally translates by some translations into bone cruncher.
Whoa. Damn.
So, like, yeah, I mean, like, it like I said, there's various different versions of it, but I think in most, what happens is basically they weigh your heart, and then they either feed the heart to Amit, and then your soul wanders restless, or they just feed you to fucking Amit completely, and you're just gobbled up by this creature.
If you think about it,
And Amit looks fat, dude.
From the way that you described Amit, is probably just a combination of the three most dangerous animals that they could face.
Right.
Right? Because if people got killed by animals back in the ancient Egyptian world, it was likely a crocodile, some kind of fucking savanna cat, or a hippo.
Yep.
Who are way more dangerous than people think they are.
Hippos are super dangerous.
Hippos will fucking destroy you.
Yeah, people think they're I mean, they are vegetarians.
They are,
they'll
they're
still fuck
vegetarians.
you up, though.
Yeah, they will fuck you
They're,
up.
aside from man, the most dangerous animal in Africa.
A true beast.
Oh, yeah.
A true beast. And this is a beast of beasts right here, man.
Mm-hmm. So the next one is Tartarus, which is part of the Greek underworld. It's described by Zeus in Homer's The Iliad as being as far beneath Hades as heaven is above earth.
Oh.
So Tartarus is beneath Hades. Hades is just kind of the general realm of the dead. Tartarus is where you go if you're a real fucking prick. It's also where the Titans are imprisoned. So you could almost kind of think of them as like the demons, I guess.
Cool.
So let's talk about a few of the specific residents of Tartarus. Like good old King Sisyphus, whose torture is pretty famous at this point.
Eternally pushing the boulder up the hill.
Yeah, he's always pushing it over, and just before he reaches the top, it falls back down to the bottom. Do you know what he did to get himself in that situation?
I do not remember.
I don't remember either, yeah.
Okay, so King Sisyphus, here's some of his crimes. He killed guests and travelers to his castle.
Oh, that's a fucking dick move.
Which was viewed as a bit, it's like a bad hospitality thing. You know, obviously that's bad hospitality, but hospitality was very, very important in the ancient world to people. So if you had bad hospitality, you were a prick. And obviously killing your guests is like the worst hospitality you could possibly fucking have.
Right.
He seduced his own niece, which I guess...
That's bad. That's bad news.
Obviously, that's bad. I'm kind of surprised the Greeks thought it was bad.
Yeah, they were pretty sexually deviant.
Yeah, look, if it had been his nephew, it'd been okay.
Yeah, maybe that was the reason. Most importantly, though, that stuff was kind of
minor.
That was minor infractions. His big fuck up was he tattletailed on Zeus.
Oh man, you don't do that, dude.
See, Zeus went and Zeus liked to rape.
Of course.
So Zeus
I mean,
kidnapped.
is it really rape if it's Zeus though, TJ?
I don't know, because he is God in their world.
Yeah.
So anyway, Sisyphus told the river god Asopus of the whereabouts of his daughter Aegina, who had been taken away by Zeus. And Zeus is like, "You really gonna fucking tell on me, bitch? Trying to get my rape on? You gonna give me shit?"
Dude, he cockblocked Zeus?
Nah. So basically, Zeus is like, goes to Thanatos and says, "Chain this Sisyphus motherfucker to a rock." But Sisyphus was pretty clever, so somehow he tricked Thanatos into tying himself to the rock instead.
Wow.
So
that
Thanatos
is
is
pretty
a fucking
clever.
dumb shit.
Yeah,
It is.
Thanatos is a real retard.
And so Sisyphus was feeling super fucking clever after that, of course. And that just pissed Zeus off worse. He's like, "Oh, you think you're clever, huh? You think you're smarter than Zeus? I don't think so, bitch." And that's when he got his classic punishment. He's like, "You're going to push this boulder up this fucking hill. When the boulder reaches the top of the hill, you can go." Yeah.
And
Once
he
you
just-
accomplish that simple task, you're free to leave.
and he just never lets it get up.
Yeah, and every time,
So,
right
like,
when
wait
it's
a
near
minute.
the top, the boulder just falls on back down.
So if I was like a prick and I ended up in Tartarus, but I wasn't like I didn't like fuck with Zeus directly or anything,
Right.
then could I in theory like just go and chill and watch Sisyphus push the boulder and shit?
I'm not sure.
Maybe.
They weren't. They were super specific about the tortures of certain individuals, but like the generalized torture, kind of not really fleshed out very much.
Because I'm wondering if it just like sucks to be there, but if you could kind of make a life of it down there, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
hey, today or this week I'm gonna watch Sisyphus and see if he makes it, and then when I get bored with that, I'll go watch one of these other people.
You can go watch King Tantalus.
Yeah.
Well, no one ever interferes, though. You know that.
This here is King Tantalus. He stole nectar and ambrosia from the gods.
Can't blame him.
He was invited to a banquet with the gods, and he had to serve the food. So for some reason, I tried to figure out why, but I couldn't. For some reason, he decided to cut up and boil his own son to serve at the banquet.
What?
And the gods were like, "This is weird." So his punishment was that he had to stand forever in a pool of water, and he's given this great thirst and this great hunger. And you see he's in the pool of water, and above him is all this fruit.
Damn,
and
those
shit.
grapes look good, dude.
And every time he reaches for the fruit, the branches pull away from him. So they seem like they're right there. We could get them, but they just pull away at the last minute. He can never get it.
Yeah.
And the water, if he tries to take a sip, it just recedes away from his mouth faster than he can get to it.
Yet again, man, it's like, look, he fucked up. I mean, he cooked and fucking served his son to the gods. But is that fucking really fair for the rest of fucking eternity?
I mean, he was just trying to make him a succulent meal.
I know. Well, he shouldn't have boiled him.
A succulent
'Cause who the
Chinese
fuck-
meal.
Who wants to eat boiled meat?
Oh, so if he had spit and roasted his son, then it
Maybe.
would have been okay.
Another king.
I'd definitely go visit King Tantalus.
Yeah, here's another delightful attraction you could look at in Tartarus. This is King Ixion. Seems like they really like to fuck with bad kings down here, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of kings in Tartarus.
Kind of a concept that's gone out of popular culture.
Right. So he made the mistake. He was invited to Olympus, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to Olympus and he sees Hera. And he's like, God damn.
I gots to fuck that.
He was like, so basically, as they're doing the banquet feast, he's playing footsie with Hera under the table.
Not a good idea.
But Zeus is no dumb shit. For those of you who don't know Greek mythology, Hera is Zeus's wife.
Right.
So Zeus is no dumb shit, and he sees what's going on. He's like, you better knock that the fuck off right now. And he did, but Zeus is like not able to let it go. So later, to test Ixion, Zeus is like, okay, I'm going to make a fake Hera out of clouds.
And
So
see if he'll fuck it.
Yeah, and basically see how far he's willing
of
to
course
go
he
with my
does.
wife. So, of course, he almost immediately fucks Cloud Hera. And
I love the ancient Greeks.
I know, right? So he's like, yeah, damn right. And he actually he impregnated Cloud Hera. She gave birth to some other bullshit.
Whoa, dude.
So once he fucked the Cloud clone, Zeus is like, you better get the fuck up out of here. So as he's leaving, Zeus throws a thunderbolt down on his ass and destroys him. And he wakes up in fucking Tartarus, and his punishment is that he's forever tied to a burning wheel that just spins around and burns, and he looks pissed about it. He's not too happy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine you would be.
The burning wheel.
He went from fucking cloud pussy to like the burning wheel.
Yeah, you know.
In like what probably felt like to him a minute and a half or
Man,
two.
Don't
you
be
know?
fucking with Zeus, dude.
Yeah, it's probably best, honestly. Like, it seems like there's one general rule in the Greek. Just don't fucking piss off Zeus.
Yeah, you don't fuck
like, he doesn't
Zeus's
really give a
bitch.
fuck what else you do. You can fucking be a raping, murdering, fucking crazy savage, do whatever the fuck you want, horrible shit.
But you better keep your mouth shut about Zeus.
But you better just make sure Zeus is happy.
Yeah. Don't try and fuck Zeus's bitch. Don't try and serve Zeus no boiled son of yours.
Don't try to fucking tattletale on Zeus.
Yeah, don't be tattletelling. You know what
None
I mean?
of that
yeah,
nonsense.
if it involves Zeus, you're like, you know what? I'm going to the Temple of Zeus to fucking pray, dude. That's it.
You make sure Zeus is happy. every year offer the
I don't
best
wanna be
virgin in your village to Zeus.
I don't want to be tied to this fucking wheel. Fuck that shit. TJ, you know what? If anyone in this group should be tied to that wheel, it is you, though.
Yeah, I think we're.
I mean, you have to admit.
I mean, I've seen plenty. I'm about to get in even more specific hells, and I've realized like I'd be in several of them. So here is the Buddhist hell.
Oh no!
Welcome to Buddhist hell. There's actually 16 hells in Buddhism. They're called narakas.
Yes.
There are 8 hot narakas, and there are 8 cold narakas. And I'm just going to give you a very brief overview of some of the narakas. Here.
Is there any balmy narakas?
No.
It's like there's some hot big titty bitches at that.
Yeah, I think whoever drew this was kind of horny.
Yeah.
So the cold narakas are Arbuda, which is hell of freezing while skin blisters.
Ow.
So, by the way, with each of these, our Buddha is like 2 times as long as a human lifespan. So, like, however long you'd live in this world, you'd live twice as long there. And each one of these is twice as long of a torment as the one before.
Oh.
And then there's Nirar Buddha, which is hell of freezing while the blisters break open.
Gross.
And then there's Atata, which is the hell of shivering, which seems less bad than the hell of skin
sounds
blisters.
like a little break.
Then there's Hahava, hell of shivering and moaning. Then there's
I'm so cold.
at least I don't have any. Maybe there's still the blisters too. Maybe they just add shit.
Ugh.
And then there's there's a Huhuva, which is the hell of chattering teeth plus moaning. Then there's Utpala, which is the hell where one's skin turns as blue as a blue lotus. You gotta love these Eastern religions, man.
All right.
Then there's Padma, the lotus hell where one's skin cracks.
Oh, fuck that, dude.
And then there's cracks, dude, where your skin is literally cracking off your body.
What the fuck?
Then there's, and by this time, by the way, it's like a really long sentence in hell. Then there's Mahapadma, the great lotus hell, where one becomes so frozen the body falls apart.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep.
That is not a good journey.
No.
Do you stay apart?
But here's the cool. No, your body breaks apart over and over again. Here's the cool thing about Buddhist hells, though, is at least you're not there forever. You are there for a really fucking long time, but it's not eternal. They're like, okay, your karma's good again. You can go.
Okay, so you can get parole, dude.
Well, you don't really get parole. You just live a lifetime there, and then you die.
Right, and then you go back into samsara.
Yeah, and then you just like try again. So this is just a really shitty, miserable place where the people with awful karma go.
It's like the bad ending to the video game, dude. I got you.
It's not an ending because there's no. I mean, like Buddhism kind of defies the concept
I guess
of an
that's
ending.
true. But you know what I mean.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, it just goes on forever.
Then there's the hot narakas. Okay.
That must be what this is a painting of here.
I think that they're kind of all in the
hot
same
narakas.
realm.
Nah.
But whatever.
They're all the hot narakas. Look at them.
Yeah, look at them hot narakas jiggling around. All right, so there's Samjiva, which is hell of reviving or repeating attacks. There's Kala Sutra, which is hell of black lines or wires used as guides for the saws.
Huh?
I don't know, dude. I think there's like you're wrapped in wires and then chopped up. I don't know.
Oh my god.
There's Samgata, which is the hell of being crushed by big hot things.
Whoa.
It's like just big flaming boulders.
Yeah, they just kind of fucking smash
God
you
damn.
constantly. Then there's Rurava, which sounds like Scooby-Doo.
Rurava?
Hell of screaming while running around on burning ground.
Fuck, dude.
Ow.
You're just in this place where the ground is super hot and you gotta kind of jump. Ah! Ow! Oh, fuck, ow!
It's like running over
That sounds better, though, than being crushed by a flaming boulder over and over again.
Dude, imagine,
well, maybe
like,
the flaming boulders only come once a day
dude.
or something.
Imagine running on asphalt, dude, and that's your life.
Mahurava, hell of great screaming while being eaten by animals.
Oh, shit.
Tapana, hell of scorching heat while being pierced by spears.
What the fuck?
Pratapana, hell of fiercely scorching heat while being pierced by tridents.
Damn, that's kind of specific.
It's like Spear only has one tip.
Trident's
got 3, so. And then, of course, finally there is Avicii, the hell without interruption while being roasted in ovens. Luckily, even like I said, none of these realms are permanent.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, it's pretty miserable to be in any of those places, but you will eventually die and be reincarnated to hopefully a better karmic plane. So the interesting thing about Narakas is they also have them in Hinduism. And let's just take a look at this drawing because it's pretty cool. This actually shows, it's like it's like in panels, like there's little comics. It shows like what they did to suffer the fate.
So he was cruel to animals.
So you see this guy being mean to a cow, and then in the afterlife, the cow's got him in a fucking headlock and shit.
Like a cow
Has
demon.
given him like an eternal noogie.
Oh, shit, dude.
It's like a cow Pokemon has got him.
Here's a guy killing some fish, so now he's going to get roasted like a fucking fish.
Damn.
Here's a guy, I don't know what he's doing. He's reading or something, so some bears are going to lick his armpits. I don't know.
He's probably like making a false contract with that guy or something.
Oh, shit, did he scam
Here's a
him?
dude drinking, so then he's going to be chained up and just like have to drink molten lead, I believe.
Damn.
Forever. Here's a guy, I don't know what he's doing, but then
Being
he
a
goes,
faggot.
He's just being a queer. He's being a total queermo.
Guys, how do I look? I look fabulous.
So
Look at my
They
new
throw him in a
dress.
fucking well and stab him a bunch.
Damn.
Here's a guy hunting animals, so of course he just gets eaten by animals forever.
Yeah.
Here's a guy having sex, so he gets like some goat demon.
Oh, dude, he gets his
burning
dick
him.
roasted.
Here's a dude. I don't know what he's doing, but he's getting eaten by
Yeah,
dogs while
How
stuck
is that
on some
equivalent?
tridents.
Oh, are they gambling or something, dude?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe they're gambling.
Here's another dude trying to mac on some chick, and then he's tied to like a burning post with her.
Damn, with a big old demon torturing him.
Here's a woman spanking her kids, and so she's getting tormented by this fucking
That's
goat
right.
demon.
That's right. Spare the rod.
So they don't have the spare the rod, spoil the child. They say use the rod, get tortured forever by a goat demon with a sword.
Damn.
And then they have a dude being rude and overburdening his poor animals, and so in the afterlife he will face such a burden.
Yeah, he's got to pull around some big fat
Man,
ass
these goat demons just love fucking like.
Yeah.
They love very like apropos punishments, dude. It's like the punishment has to fucking fit the crime.
And actually, in Hinduism, there are also Narakas. The number and names of them change depending on the author, but many scriptures describe 28 Narakas. However, according to some texts, there are actually thousands of hells, all ruled over by Yama, the god of death. Obviously, with this many hells to choose from, I can't get into them all, but I thought I'd tell you guys about a few interesting ones.
Dude, before you get into
Yes.
them, TJ.
Go ahead.
That guy being tortured for having sex kind of looks like you in the hot oil video, dude.
Which one?
The one getting tortured right there
Oh,
in the
yeah,
middle.
yeah, I see it.
See it?
Yeah, I see what you're
He's
talking
kind of
about.
in the same position and everything.
Yeah, dude.
It was you.
That was just my fucking...
That was your Naraka, dude.
Naraka, dude.
What the fuck, TJ? It's you.
Hey, you know, a lot of BDSM imagery in hell.
Yeah. Which, like, raises the question for people that are into BDSM.
They're just trying to get ready because they know they're going to hell. It's like,
Right.
we might as well learn to fucking love it.
Is this
you know?
heaven for them then?
I don't know. That's a good question. We'll have to go to hell sometime.
This
and
could be
ask.
We'll have to see.
You just have to wait and see, I guess. So first of all, there's a place called Kumbipaka. Kumbipaka.
Okay.
So this is a person who cooks animals and birds, because they're big vegetarians, is cooked alive in boiling oil by Yamadutas here. Yamaduta is like a demon. For as many years as there were hairs on the bodies of their animal victims. So that could be quite a lot. Quite a lot of years.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of years.
And Hukupa, which means well with its mouth hidden. That's a hell where a person who harms others with the intention of malice and harms insects is confined. He is attacked by birds, animals, reptiles, mosquitoes, lice, worms, flies, and others who deprive him of rest and compel him to run hither and thither.
Damn, that's rough.
Just
So,
chased by animals.
That's a pretty nasty one.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you mean to some bugs or mean to people, You can get tormented by bugs in the afterlife.
Ugh.
So then there's Krimabojana, which means worm food. As per the Bhagavata Purana and the Devi Bhagavata Purana, it is where a person who does not share his food with guests, elders, and children, or the gods, a person who selfishly eats alone, and who eats without performing the 5 yajnas,
Whatever those are.
prayers, I guess,
Oh, you're going to this hell for
is
sure.
chastised.
I'm all up in this hell already.
The Vishnu Purana states that one who loathes his father, Brahmins, or the gods who destroy jewels is punished here.
Uh-oh.
This hell is a 100,000 yojana lake filled with worms. The sinful person is reduced to a worm who feeds on other worms, who in turn devour his body for 100,000 years.
God damn. That's a shitty existence.
And that's the fucking hell you deserve, TJ. You know how many times you fucking been making some delicious shit here?
And I'm like, this
How many
guy's like,
times
can I have but one crumb? And I'm like, nah.
How many times have me and Paul, it's like, man, dude, TJ, we're starving, dude.
Yeah,
Can
we
have
come
something?
over here to the house filled with the delicious smells of food we can't have.
Sorry.
You know who else is going here? Steve.
It's all right. Don't be sorry to me. Be
Stevie's
sorry to
going
the
too.
worms.
I tried to share that food with him, dude.
Yeah.
Didn't accept it, man.
Well,
He's going-
that maybe he has a different hell. What's the hell of
Oh.
somebody who isn't receptive to courtesy?
That's true.
I don't know. So there is another realm called Piyota, which
Whoa.
translates to water of pus.
I thought it was like peyote,
So
dude.
this
You
is
trip
for
the whole time.
husbands or sexual partners of lowly women
lowly
and prostitutes.
Lowly women?
Yes. So like if your girlfriend is a slut or a prostitute, then you
wait a minute, you gotta suffer for her shit?
Yep. You go to an ocean of pus, excreta, that's shit.
Yeah.
Urine, mucus, saliva, and other repugnant things. Here you are forced to eat that, basically. You go to a big fucking ocean of
Duty
disgusting
buffet.
bodily matter and you gotta just eat it forever. Well, not forever, but just, I don't know, however long your sentence is. So enjoy. Shaluprota. Pierced by sharp pointed spear or dart. Some people give shelter. This is very specific. This is for people who give shelter to birds or animals, pretending to be their saviors, but then harass them by poking them and being mean. Like people who have pets that are mean to them, basically.
So like that bitch that threw the puppies away.
Well, she's probably going somewhere worse. This is just for people who like annoy their animals, I guess.
Oh shit. Oh no.
Yeah, no. So basically, they go to a place where they're fatigued with hunger and thirst, and then they're pierced with sharp needle-like spears, and ferocious carnivorous birds like vultures and herons tear apart and gorge their
Damn.
flesh.
I should stop trolling Dinor, I
Yeah.
guess.
Don't ever be even slightly mean to Dinor.
What
or
the
you
fuck?
will-
So you poke a bird once and then you're going to fucking be tortured for like 100,000
Hey,
years?
you gotta
Yep.
fucking live a clean life, Scotty.
Yeah, you can't be
You don't
fucking
get
with
the
that
fuck
shit.
up.
Yeah, you can't be, dude. In Hinduism, you can't be mean to animals at all.
No,
Not
they're-
even a little bit.
No, and obviously this has been relaxed somewhat because Hindus now do enjoy some meats and stuff, depending on their strictness, but whatever. So let's talk a little bit, very briefly, about Jahannam, which I think you can recognize has Gehenna as its root word. This is the Islamic hell, not very different from the current Christian idea of hell, by the way. Punishments are carried in accordance with the degree of evil one has done in their life.
So yeah, very much like the other hell too.
So in the Quran, Jahannam is referred to as the fire, blazing fire, that which breaks to pieces, the abyss, the blaze, and a bunch of other names. Suffering in hell is both physical and spiritual. It varies according to the sins of the condemned. As described in the Quran, hell has 7 levels, each one more severe than the one above it. 7 gates, each for a specific group of sinners, a blazing fire, boiling water, and the tree of Zaquam. Not all Muslims and scholars agree whether hell is an eternal destination or
dude,
whether...
I don't even want to know what the fucking tree of Zaquam
I know.
is,
What
dude.
the fuck is that?
I didn't pull it, so...
That sounds like the worst torture of all, dude. That it sounds
You
like
will go to the tree of Zaquam.
No, you know what it is, dude? It sounds like they give you a choice, right? Do you want to go to the boiling water, the scorching fire, or the tree of Zaham?
Yeah,
You know,
then
and you're like, oh, go to the tree. And the tree of Zaham is 10 times, million times as worse.
Are double Q's H's in Islam?
I think.
Okay, so Zaham then. So okay, I tried to figure out what the fuck their 7 hells were.
Dude, what the fuck is this dude in the middle here?
I don't know, some kind of demon. As far as I can tell, there's no like it's not like specifically laid out what each of the 7 hells is.
Dude,
but
it looks
I found
like some people's ripped up torsos hanging by their tongues.
Yeah.
That's
what's going on. I think those are like sinful women who like did bad stuff, like didn't wear a hijab or something.
Ooh.
So a fire for sinners among the Muslims is the first level. So like if you're a Muslim but you're a shitty Muslim, you go to the first level. The next level is for Christians.
Oh.
The next level is for Jews.
Even worse.
And then there's the burning fire for renegades. And then there's a place for witches and fortune tellers. And then there's a furnace for the disbelievers. That's where we're going.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, dude.
And then there's a bottomless abyss for hypocrites like the Pharaoh and people who disbelieve after Isa's table, or Muslims who outwardly believers but inwardly infidels.
Okay.
Oh, dude. So
That's where the worst go.
Wow.
So even worse than us are the Muslims that
All right.
claim.
Yeah, like so if you pretend to be a Muslim,
yeah.
that's even worse.
Well, at least we're just going to the fiery furnace of unbelief or whatever.
Yeah, at least we don't have to go to the bottomless abyss of
Yeah, I think-
hypocrites.
yeah, we're level like 6, dude. That's not too bad.
We only go to the 6th level of hell, so it'll be all right. We can
All
still
right.
point and laugh at the people in the 7th level.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's talk about one of the most famous depictions of hell in literature. This is Dante's Inferno. It was part 1 of his epic 3-part poem in the 14th century, The Divine Comedy. The poem is told in 3 parts: Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. Obviously, we're going to be focused on the Inferno. There's different... His hell also has levels. He has 9 levels, though.
Okay.
So there's 9 levels of hell, and you could see that each is reserved for a specific type of sinner. I always wonder what you do when, like, someone's both, like, what if you're gluttonous and greedy, you know? Do you just kind of, like...
I mean, those are very similar concepts.
Go between the two? I like how they have fucking Scrooge
And what if
McDuck
you're-
in here, too.
And what if you're angry, though? You're
mean-
angry, greedy, gluttonous, lustful.
Maybe they just choose whichever
Violent?
one you had the most of.
Oh, okay. So there's like a scale of which
Right.
one's the worst.
Yeah, I guess there's some kind of determining factor.
Well, TJ,
so,
you're going to be pretty low. Fraud.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I'm gonna be way down at the bottom. Dante's Inferno. Level 1 is Limbo. Everybody Limbo.
Limbo always sounds like just boredom.
It pretty much is. It's actually it's a place for the unbaptized. It's a place for virtuous pagans. It's a place for people who were good but didn't accept Christ. It shares many characteristics with the Asphodel Meadows, which we learned about in your episode, Paul.
Got it.
Limbo is basically just a crappy heaven. It's not paradise, but it's not really punishment.
You were a good pagan, you know.
It's just like,
you don't go to heaven, but you go.
You know, you're not really a piece of shit, but you didn't really believe in Jesus either, so you go somewhere kind of lame.
So you gotta just get to sit around some rocks and shit.
Yeah, you just
and
kind of
chill.
chill in a meadow, and you know.
But what? There are other people that were like-minded are there?
Yeah,
That's not
Yeah.
too bad.
so there's conversation
Yeah.
and all that stuff, and even the poet Virgil, who is one of the narrators other than Dante, is there.
Can you bone down in limbo?
You know, I don't know.
Hopefully you can.
I imagine you can. I don't see why not.
Man, I'm kind of thinking like limbo sounds better than a lot of the heavens.
Right, because it's just kind of like, you know, you just chill.
Yeah, you get to chill in a meadow and talk with other like-minded people for the rest of your life. That's cool.
Yeah, not too bad.
Maybe get to bone a like-minded chick. Who knows?
Well, you probably, if you're looking to bone, you're probably going to end up in the 2nd level of hell, which is lust.
Uh-oh.
So basically, those who let lust rule over them in life are forever trapped in a great storm that blows them all over the fucking place. Not in a good way. It's not a good blow.
This sounds like
Bad
kind of
blow.
fun, honestly.
You're just powerless. Just as you are powerless against the lust in your life, you're thrown about everywhere, wherever the wind wants
What
you
if
to
you
go.
have like a storm fetish though? Like
There's no
wind
rest.
fetish.
There's no reprieve. You just kind of get blown around, and that's why it's only the second level. They kind of say like, it's kind of one of the more minor tortures. It's just like, you wanted pussy a little too much. You gotta fucking blow around in the wind
Right.
forever, and you don't get to rest. That's it. So it's not. I mean, obviously that would suck, but it's not too bad. You could do worse, and in fact, you can. Then we go to the gluttony level of hell.
Uh-oh.
So in the third
Guys,
circle,
uh-oh.
yeah.
This doesn't look fun.
Oopsie.
They were coming to Paul's level, dude.
The gluttonous will wallow in a vile, putrid slush produced by a ceaseless, foul, icy rain.
Oh.
A great storm of putrefaction as punishment for subjecting their reason to a voracious appetite. Cerberus, who in this version is literally a 3-headed worm, not a dog.
Oh.
The monstrous 3-headed beast of hell ravenously guards the gluttonous lying in the freezing mire, mauling and flaying them with his claws as they howl like dogs. So basically, you get to lay down in a disgusting, vile, putrid mush while icy rain pours down on you, and if you fucking try to get up, Cerberus rips you fucking all up and makes you howl like a
Dude,
dog.
I'm gonna be the Kwisatz Haderach of this fucking level of hell, dude.
You're gonna
I'm gonna
lead
ride
these people to freedom.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride Cerberus out of hell, dude.
Maybe you
I'm
will.
gonna tame the giant fucking shitworm, and we're getting out.
Getting out, y'all.
Dude, see, because there ain't no way, dude. I'm gonna be plotting and scheming. I'm gonna be meeting with these people. I'm gonna be like, stop writhing, you fucking idiot.
Get ready for your putrid slush.
Get outta
Paul,
here, man.
In your fucking cold rain, icy rain.
Oh, well, that's funny you should say that, Scotty, because I think the next level is for you.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Greed.
Oh shit, man.
Dun, dun. Yep.
Those whose attitude towards material goods deviated from the appropriate mean are punished in the fourth circle. They include the avaricious or miserly, including many clergymen, popes, and cardinals, because Dante was just like that,
Right.
who hoarded possessions, and the prodigal who squandered them. The hoarders and spendthrifts joust, using as weapons great weights that they can push with their chests. And here they're depicted as giant bags of money. I'll read you a little bit from the poem. Here, too, I saw a nation of lost souls, far more than were above. They strained their chest against enormous weights, and with mad howls rolled them at one another. Then in haste they rolled them back, one party shouting out, "Why do you hoard?" and the other, "Why do you waste?" So basically, they just kind of like sit around pushing around these giant, horrible weights and throwing them at each other. And, when someone grabs their shit, they're like, "Give it back." And when someone... it's basically they're just like a magnification of their greed and their avarice, and
Cool.
They're just trapped forever in that cycle. So all Scotty's hearing is like, "I get a big bag of money."
Yeah. Sorry, dude, but I ain't bringing the fucking worm down to this level. We got to go up and out.
Gotta go
There
up
ain't
and
no
out.
way. You better start getting... You know what? You need to get fat, Scotty.
Maybe Scotty won't go to that level though.
If he starts now and he gets super duper fat and starts just being a super glutton, then he can come to the same hell as us, and we'll ride the worm out.
See this level of hell. Well, even if you tried to fucking save us, dude, tried to free us from this, we'd be like, "No,
Yeah.
Get away!
get away! This is mine."
Damn.
All right, so the next level is for the wrathful and the angry.
Oh.
So you guys might just go to this
Yeah, I
one.
might go to this one too, dude.
In the swampy, stinking waters of the river Styx, the actively wrathful fight each other viciously on the surface of the slime, while the sullen, which is the passively wrathful, lie beneath the water withdrawn into a black sulkiness which can find no joy in God or man or the universe.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going here.
this is where you are.
Fuck all you idiots fighting on the thing. I'm going to my sulky place because I'm already there. So it's just like, oh.
So, Paul, your plan now is
Yep.
to go to the river Styx
Yep.
and just go descend,
Because-
sink into the slime and just watch the fight, basically.
I won't deny that I deserve this hell. Like, I'm an angry fuck, but I'm also kind of sullenly angry So I think I'm gonna be the dude that just gets to sink down under the muck and watch the
It's
fight.
good that they considered your kind of anger too, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
not
not
just the wrathful anger. It's like Paul's gonna be just kind of sullen, like, I hate this fighting. Fuck them. Fuck this shit. I'm just gonna sit here and watch.
So they just kind of fight on the surface of the muck, and the sullen people just kind of sink to the bottom
Sick.
and cry.
I actually don't mind that hell. That sounds like a pretty decent hell.
But since we all deny God, we're probably all going to this level of hell. Heresy.
Oh, God.
This is the 6th circle of hell.
What is this?
This is where heretics such as Epicurus and his fucking stupid followers. God damn you, Epicurus! So this whole thing is basically just like fuck Epicurus.
Right.
Anyone who fucking says that God's a piece of shit, they just end up in these like flaming tombs.
Okay.
You get a tomb and you're on fire and you gotta sit in the fiery tomb. And I guess if somebody comes by to talk to you, you're allowed to come out for a second and say hello and chat for a minute, but then you gotta go back to your fiery tomb.
Oh.
So there you go. It's a
Got
fun
it.
time. So the next level, it was not very much description because most of this was actually just basically Dante and
Fucking on Epicurus.
I don't think he actually talked directly to Epicurus, but he talked to one of his followers, and they kind of just talked to each other. And Dante's like, "I'm better than you, you fucking stupid fuck," and that's basically how it went. So violence, the 7th circle. This one's divided into 3 rings. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So ring 1 is violence against neighbors. So in the first round of the 7th circle, by the way, all the circles from this point have subsections. And it gets more and more cumbersome. But in the 7th circle, the murderers, war makers, plunderers, and tyrants are immersed in Phlegethon, a river of boiling blood and fire. Ciardi writes, as they wallowed in blood during their lives, so they are immersed in boiling blood forever, each according to the degree of his guilt. By the way, Alexander the Great is there.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so he's no good. The next, I think I need to pull up an image for this, actually. Yeah, hold on. Because it looks like it didn't pull properly when I did it last time.
God damn it, TJ.
The next one is the Forest of the Suicides.
Whoa, it's like isn't this like Japan, dude?
No.
I'm just saying that.
So this is people who are violent against themselves. The second round of the 7th circle is the Wood of Suicides, in which the souls of people who attempted or committed suicide are transformed into gnarled, thorny trees and then fed upon by harpies, hideous clawed birds with the faces of women. The trees are only permitted to speak when broken and bleeding.
Okay.
And basically, the interesting thing about these tree people is they're the only ones who will not be resurrected in the Day of Judgment. They'll appear. They'll go back to Earth in their tree forms with their own corpses hanging from their branches.
Oh. Damn.
That's fucking. You know what though? They have a pretty metal ending. They fucking just be like, nope. You tried to kill yourself. You're a fucking tree with your corpse hanging off of you.
Yep. So that's how they go. And then this one here is for those who were violent against God, art, or nature. The third round of the
A lot of people going to this one.
Yes. The third round of the 7th circle is a great plain of burning sand, scorched by great flakes of flame falling down from the sky. Basically, Sodom and Gomorrah forever. The destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, it just happens ongoing forever. The blasphemers are stretched supine upon the burning sand. The sodomites run in circles, while the usurers, those violent against art, crouch huddled and weeping. So basically, the blasphemers are tied down, the sodomites are running around, and the usurers are crying.
All right, so be a sodomite then.
Paul, would you really want to run for eternity, dude? I don't think you'd really want to do that.
I wouldn't want to be strapped to the burning ground for eternity. I'd rather be able to
Run
step
around like
on
an
some
idiot.
of these idiots.
Well, Paul's trying to fuck each other in the ass, too. They're sodomites. I mean, you got to figure that's what the plan is.
So the next level of hell is the frauds.
Oh.
Definitely TJ's section.
The frauds.
TJ's hell.
So the 8th circle is a large funnel of stone shaped like an amphitheater, around which run a series of 10 deep, narrow, concentric ditches or trenches called bulge. Singular is Bolgia.
Bullshit.
Oh, Malbolgia, dude.
Malbolgia literally means evil ditch.
Sweet.
So the first Bolgia is for panderers and seducers. These sinners make 2 files along either bank of the ditch and march quickly in the opposite direction while being whipped by horned demons for eternity.
Oh. Damn.
That's what you get for pandering, Paul.
It's fucking harsh.
Flatterers.
Yeah.
These people are steeped in excrement as they howl and fight amongst themselves. So they basically just have to muck around in shit for eternity. Yep.
Yeah, that seems to be a common one.
Yeah, they're really into shit.
Like having a wallow in filthy water seems to be their thing.
Simoniacs is the next Bolgia. Simony is basically selling church positions or favors.
Oh, okay.
So these sinners are placed head downward into round tube-like holes within the rock, which is a mockery of a baptismal font, with flames burning the soles of their feet. The heat of the fire is proportionate to their guilt. On the next Bolgia are sorcerers. So in the middle of the bridge of the 4th Bolgia, Dante looks down at the souls of fortune tellers, diviners, astrologers, and other false prophets. The punishment of those who attempted to usurp God's prerogative by prying into the future is to have their heads twisted around their bodies in a horrible contortion of the human form, and then they're compelled to walk backwards for eternity, blinded by their own tears.
Some oddly specific punishments for certain professions. Dude.
Yes, and then Barraters are Bolgia number 5. That's corrupt politicians who made money by trafficking in public offices. They're immersed in a lake of boiling tar, which represents the sticky fingers and dark secrets of their corrupt deals.
Oh.
They are guarded by demons called Malbranche, evil claws, who tear them to pieces with claws and grappling hooks if they catch them above the surface of the boiling pitch, which is tar.
Seems fair.
So then Bolgia number 6 is for the hypocrites. So they're given these ornate-looking robes that are actually super heavy and horrible, and they just have to kind of march around wearing these super heavy robes. It's meant to symbolize how they look holy on the outside, but really it's just they're weighted down by the weight of their falsity and lies.
I mean, a lot of people
and
can qualify for that section too.
Then there's the 7th Bolgia, which is for thieves. It's basically filled with reptiles, and the reptiles just bite the fuck out of you. Lizards and snakes bite you and curl themselves around you and choke you and all that stuff forever and ever. So the next one is called Counselors of Fraud. This is people who give fraudulent advice. They just each get their own personal little flame that burns on them forever. Next is Bolgia number 9, Sowers of Discord. So in the 9th Bolgia, the Sowers of Discord are hacked and mutilated for all eternity by a large demon wielding a bloody sword. Their bodies are divided as in life their sin was to tear apart what God had intended to be united. So people who go around spreading drama and bullshit are going to get chopped up forever by demons.
Right.
Which seems fair enough, actually. And then finally, the 10th Bolgia, Falsifiers. The final Bolgia of the 8th Circle is home to various sorts of falsifiers. A disease on society, they are themselves afflicted with different types of afflictions, horrible diseases, stench, thirst, filth, darkness, and screaming. Some lie prostrate while others run hungering through the pit, tearing each other to pieces.
Wow. That one sounds kind of epic.
Humans get torn up a lot in hell, I've noticed.
Yeah, they really rip you apart quite a bit.
You have to get ripped apart in hell. You have to fight a lot, and you have to get ripped apart a lot.
Yeah, that's kind of what you do. It's kind of like a really intense mosh pit.
Occasionally, demons make appearances to whip or hit you or something. You know, it's like, oh, we're going to whip you.
So then there's level 9 of hell.
Oh, shit, dude.
This is where the traitors go. This is treachery. And you think it would be hot, but it's actually icy in this level of hell. Trapped in the ice, each according to his guilt, are punished sinners guilty of treachery against those with whom they had special relationships. The lake of ice is divided into 4 concentric rings. So the first ring is Cana, named after Cain, who killed his brother, as we all know. This round houses traitors to their kindred. So betraying your family will end you up here.
Right.
They have their necks and hands out of the ice and are allowed to bow their heads, allowing some protection from the freezing wind. Then there's round 2, which is Antenora, which basically is the same. It's basically traitors to their country. They still get to have their heads out of the ice, but they can't bend them. So there's no protection from the icy wind.
Okay.
And then round 3 is Ptolemaea, which is named after Ptolemy, who invited his father-in-law, Simon Maccabeus, and his sons to a banquet and then killed them. This is traitors to their guests. They lie supine in the ice while their tears freeze in their eye sockets, sealing them with small visors of crystals. Even the comfort of weeping is denied them.
Damn.
And then there's the final round, which is Judeca, of course named after Judas.
Right.
This is where you're just frozen solid under the ice for all time. You're just totally encapsulated in freezing ice, and your body is just super cold, and you can never escape it forever and ever. And then, at Hell's heart, there is Lucifer.
Dun, dun.
Galactos Dominos. So this is the center of hell and also the center of the earth. Lucifer is imprisoned. Condemned for committing the ultimate sin, personal treachery against God, is the devil, referred to by Virgil as Dis. The arch-traitor Lucifer was once held by God to be the fairest of the angels before pride led him to rebel against God, resulting in his expulsion from heaven. Lucifer is a giant, terrifying beast trapped waist deep in the ice, fixed and suffering. He has 3 faces, each a different color, one red, one pale yellow, and one black. And you'll see there he's eating some people. The people he's chewing on are Judas, Brutus, and Cassius, famous traitors, 2 of whom participated in, of course, the assassination of Julius Caesar, and the other,
which was apparently like
Jesus.
One of the worst things that ever happened.
Because those
according
guys,
to Dante,
those guys are personally munched on by the devil like a snack for all time.
Right.
So Satan's just like chewing you up. I think it was kind of cool that in Dante's hell, Satan is not like
the leader.
He's not there to be the king and to preside over it and rule. He's there being tortured as well.
Right.
You know, he's got to just sit there in misery, eating people.
Well, that makes a lot more sense, though. Like, if the devil's in hell, he's not just the leader of hell. He's not the king of hell. He's the one. He's just like the fucking one being tortured the most.
Yep, he's just there in the center, getting tortured. At least he gets to chew on some people. That
yeah,
seems
and
like,
he's only half frozen. It seems like the people frozen solid have it kind of worse than him. I mean, he's got fucking snacks at least.
Yeah, but he's got to be in that very center. So you know. So then there's also Paradise Lost, which is mostly about Satan, but there's some verses in there about hell. 17th century English poet John Milton. I thought I'd read a little bit of his description of hell. At once, as far as angels ken, he views the dismal situation, waste and wild, a dungeon horrible on all sides round, as one great furnace flamed, yet from those flames no light, but rather darkness visible, served only to discover sights of woe, regions of sorrow, doleful shades, where peace and rest can never dwell, hope never comes, that comes to all, but torture without end, still urges, and a fiery deluge fed with ever-burning sulfur unconsumed. Such place eternal justice has prepared for the rebellious. Here their prison ordained in utter darkness and their portion set, as far removed from God and the light of heaven as from the center thrice to the utmost pole. Oh, how unlike the place from whence they fell. So this is basically when Satan and his host of angels that sided with him against God, this is when they arrived, and it's just talk about how it's shitty and there's no hope and it's dark and even the fires won't light anything up.
It almost sounds like the modern conceptualization of hell was almost derived entirely from this.
Yeah, it was Dante's Inferno and Paradise Lost pretty much invented hell. That's
Yeah.
why I had to look at both of those, because the Bible, it's not even clear in the Bible that they intended there to be a hell.
No.
Even if you grant the most generous interpretation of the King James Version, hell is mentioned 54 times. Heaven, I think, is mentioned like 900 times or 600 times or some crazy amount like that. Heaven's all over the place.
And I have a question.
Hell's barely mentioned, if it's mentioned at all.
And
Which
this
it
kinda,
really isn't.
And this kind of at least address that point. But if hell is like fire and brimstone, how can hell be dark? Because fire spreads light.
A lot of those testimonies I showed you earlier, they say like, okay, there's fire, but no light escapes the fire.
Yeah, that's what Milton just said. He said the fires don't throw off any light; they throw off darkness.
Yeah, there's just darkness everywhere. So it's basically just black backdrop with fire.
Well, that would be pretty cool, though.
Yeah, hell is obviously super fucking metal.
I mean, yeah, you can see why it's tantalized some people over to wanting to go to it.
I mean, look at this scene right here. It looks like they're having a fucking awesome
this
party.
looks pretty dope. Hail Satan,
Archangelo.
This looks like a ghost concert or something. It's pretty awesome.
My favorite line from Milton's poem is actually when Satan just arrives in hell, and one of the things he says to kind of comfort himself is, the mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell a hell of heaven. So that's kind of neat.
So he's got kind of an optimist's view.
Right. So Satan is kind of like the ultimate optimist. And I think it kind of goes back to that control quote I opened with, too, where it's like, to be in heaven, to be in hell is to be adrift, to be in heaven is to steer. So Satan, for the first time, is like, well, at least I kind of got what I wanted. I'm the boss now. And I think that kind of this is the point where Satan started to get viewed as the boss of hell. Because, obviously in Dante's Inferno, he's just another subject.
Right.
He's just getting the worst torture in the lowest level. Whereas in this, he's reigning over hell as a king, and it's a horrible realm of darkness and misery, but at least it's his,
Right.
I also pulled something about the philosopher Camus talking in one of his essays about, he kind of looked at the plight of Sisyphus, the guy rolling the boulder up the hill forever, as being sort of very similar to actual human life.
Sure.
So he said that, like the way to escape hell is to kind of like imagine Sisyphus happy, where he just loves rolling that boulder up there. He's like, I just can't wait to roll the boulder up the fucking hill again.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to imagine Sisyphus happy, though, with such a redundant task.
I mean, maybe he eventually arrives at a point where he is happy with it.
I think that's kind of like one of the things that I remember talking about a lot when I was a kid and people talked about hell and they thought it was real and stuff was I think this question comes up a lot is like, wouldn't you eventually just get used to it? Like, if we're talking about eternity, like, at some point, don't you just say, like, okay, I just, I muck around and shit. That's what I do.
I mean, what choice do you have?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's no escape. So, I mean, like, what is it that just prevents people from accepting it? And no Christian's ever really been able to come up with a good answer. You just can't. It's just so bad you never can.
do it. We win.
But, like, I'm sorry, but eventually, no matter what's happening, you're just going to fucking, like, I think heaven and hell ultimately become the same place. Just a place of eternal boredom with some humdrum, nonstop existence with no variety.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, okay, I'm in heaven. I praise Jesus and I fucking look at jewels or whatever the fuck.
Here's the thing, is that, as religion's such a great scam because you can't visit these places until you die. And obviously, most people with any intelligence say it's very unlikely these places exist. So it doesn't have to be flesh. It doesn't really have to. It doesn't really matter in a larger sense. It's just kind of like a punishment to fucking say, if you do that, you're going to go to hell. If you're bad, you go to hell. But no one really believes they're going to hell.
Well, it's a carrot on a stick thing, right? I mean, I found heaven to be very similar. It's like they want to leave it open-ended so that you can imagine, because everybody's got their own personal torture that they think would be the worst. And any of that could be easily transported into any of the hells that we talked about today.
Yeah. I mean, look, a lot of the hells loved their ironic punishments,
Right.
The Hindu ones, especially the Hindu Narakas, they were all about, like, you did this in life, well, now that's going to happen to you.
It's the same thing with the heavens, too.
Right.
It's like everybody's got their idea of bliss, and if you leave it vague and open-ended, well, your bliss is there, too.
Well, think about it, too. It's like the ultimate, like, poetic justice. Like, so if you see someone engaging in these behaviors, you can almost think to yourself, well, when they go to hell,
Well, it was like the other day we were watching that thing about that woman who threw the 7 puppies in the dumpster, and Paul's like, someone should throw her in a fucking dumpster and seal it up with concrete.
Right.
Like that's that same from that
Human
same
nature.
impulse. That's where hell comes from.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Well, you can see it all over Dante.
Right, Dante.
He's met somebody that would fit in each one of these hells, and he comes up with a punishment that he think would be fitting for that person.
Dante put in his story like several people he'd actually known in his life, and philosophical rivals and shit like that. He would put in hell. That's why the fucking level of heresy was pretty much entirely Epicurus and his followers, because Dante fucking hated Epicurus. Thought he was the dumbest motherfucker ever for denying God, making arguments against God. So Epicurus is like fucking. Dante's like, Epicurus is fucking burning and he's fucking in pain and he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I think he even like there was some Dante at one point in his life got run out of some town or something, and someone took his possessions as part of because he owed some kind of debt or some crap, and that guy was in the river of wrath, fucking. Getting beat the shit up while writhing around in slime in the river Styx.
Damn.
So he would he put all the people he didn't like in there. He put he didn't like Alexander the Great, so Alexander the Great was in there. Like anybody he didn't like was in there. So if Paul was making up a hell, there'd be like, you threw puppies in a dumpster, you get to spend eternity in a dumpster rotting, and then when you've totally rotted into dust, your body is rebuilt just to rot again.
Yeah.
Or whatever person you don't like, you give them some ironic punishment and just ascribe eternity to it. It's basically like it's like a sadomasochistic fucking fantasy where half of it's like, yes, torture me, burn me, I was naughty, and the other part's like, fucking my enemies and people I don't like are gonna suffer because they're pieces of shit and I hate them.
Right, but somehow that idea escaped the mind of the person that was, because we all do that.
But does anyone
we
really
all
believe they're going
imagine
to hell?
our enemies,
Right. Of course.
suffering. But somehow some very specific ideas of that managed to escape those individuals and become like a modern conception of where people go when they die.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy to me how like the concepts of both heaven and hell are like evolved independently in so many different cultures and contexts and stuff. But it's just obvious that there's just an impulse towards that. Like people need some kind of idea of heaven to think that maybe once they die, because we're all scared of our mortality, maybe there's some nice place we go. But then if there's a nice place we go, what about the pieces of shit? What about the piece of shit people? What happens to them,
I don't think many people, I mean, obviously maybe there's some. I don't think many people believe they're going to hell. I think they think it's a punishment for bad people. Like,
sure.
Everybody else is going to hell.
Yeah, everyone else is going to. Like, the guy that ripped you off, oh, that guy's going to go to hell. This
going to hell. He's going to burn.
This pastor took money from the thing. Oh, he's just going to burn in hell. It's like... So it's like to them it's punished because I don't think when you look at yourself, I mean, even if you've done terrible things, you're going to say, I deserve heaven. I deserve a fucking afterlife of bliss because I was good to the people around me. Or
but it's also a good bludgeon to use against weak minds, too.
Right.
Like children or people that aren't, altogether too intelligent. They're very, very easily swayed by the idea of just eternal torture.
You heard that guy, is the Mr. Hoodie, talk about like the demons as they ripped him apart were telling about all the times he lied or disobeyed his parents.
Right.
So of course there's tons of Christian parents out there who are like, if you disobey me, you're gonna go to hell and you're gonna burn for all time. And it's like, oh, that's not child abuse at all.
Yeah, no, it very clearly is child abuse.
Telling that there's a domain of suffering and torture is not child abuse.
I mean, if you fucking smack your kid in the face, that's child abuse. But literally giving them a psychological complex that the least little disobedience towards you will result in an eternity of fucking nonstop horrible suffering and torture.
Okay,
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's your religious right to do. So that's bullshit. But yeah, I mean, like, it's obviously, like, heaven's the fucking carrot, hell is the fucking stick.
So what hell would you go to, TJ? If you were forced, you realize your fucking number's been called, your time is up. What hell do you go to?
I don't even know.
I already picked mine, man. I want that Greek hell where I get to chill down under the water in my own little dark place.
So going through Dante's Inferno, which hell do I think I'd end up in? Fuck, I don't know. Probably, let's see. Let's look at the whole circle again here.
We got
there's limbo, lust, gluttony, greed, anger, heresy. I'd probably be in heresy. I mean, I'm super fucking famous for fucking talking shit on God. I'm not really violent. I might be something of a fraud.
So
but
TJ's
who
just going to
isn't?
be one of these dudes that can come up out of his flaming grave and chill and talk with you if he wants for a minute, but then he's got to...
I got to go right back into the flaming grave.
Got to
though.
go back to the flaming grave.
I'm thinking either anger or greed for me, man. I
Yeah.
mean, anger has its appeal. I'd definitely be one of the fighting ones, though. I wouldn't be the one of the sullen ones.
Yeah, I might be chilling down under the water watching you fucking scrap someday, Scotty.
Occasionally, Paul would be like, "Hi, Scotty."
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fraudulent dude. I'm not a treacherous dude. I'm not a violent dude at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
So those are, not for me. Heresy.
I could see Paul in
yeah.
limbo too.
I could end up in heresy. I could end up in anger. I'm not, I don't know that greed is my greatest sin, so that one don't make much sense. Gluttony, I mean, I could definitely end up there. I do love just stuffing my fat fucking face, so, yeah, I think probably either gluttony or anger for me would probably be the ones I'd end up in. Like for me, I think the most destructive thing in my life is my anger, so I'd have to go with anger probably overall. I don't think I've really hurt anybody eating chicken wings.
I don't really think heresy.
I think TJ
I don't really
should
see how
be-
it should be there, but
I think TJ would be in gluttony, dude.
you think I'd just be in gluttony
Or lust. I could see you in lust too.
Glustony.
Yeah, maybe TJ gets to bounce back and forth between gluttony and lust.
You know what I always don't understand? The Christians are always saying that hell was originally made for Satan and his demons, right?
Yeah.
But man will be sent there because of our stupid disobedience and stuff. And that's kind of the angle they go with. Like, it wasn't even made for man. It was made for the devil and his demons. Well, if that's true, how come the demons get to spend all their time just torturing people and having a grand old fucking time?
Yeah, I know, right?
Seems like the demons are having a fucking blast.
This is great. Thanks, God.
So how the fuck is it a punishment zone for them? That doesn't even make
Doesn't
fucking
sound like
sense.
it is. Yeah.
Sounds like they're having a fucking great old
Well,
time.
they're demons, so, I guess it's just they're so evil it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I wish I was.
Well, they're fallen angels,
Yeah,
God.
how do you get to be a demon?
Yeah, like, I want to give me the path to demonhood. Is there any way for me to become a demon in hell? Because that sounds way more fun.
Aren't they just... Wasn't all the demons in hell, weren't they just angels before, or are there actual other demons?
I mean, like, I think there's like, it's like everything in
demons-
religion
yeah,
is super
it's just-
confusing and mixed up. Some people say they're all fallen angels. Other people say they're like elemental forces or demons, and that there's just demons running around the world and shit. Who fucking knows?
There might have to be another episode, dude. So how much do we actually know about Christian
Maybe we should do a
demons?
thing about demons. That'd be a cool one.
Demons.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I think that's all about what we got on hell.
Go to hell, all of you.
Go to hell. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, tune in for the banter-sode on Monday.
Maybe. We'll see.
The
No, we're
Bantercast.
doing it.
We're
No,
doing it.
there ain't no
The
maybes.
Bantercast.
Ain't no maybe. All right. Bye.
Bye.